Toland The Shattered's story began as a member of Eris's fire team infiltrating the Hellmouth. But as he became more and more inspired by the Hive's dark magic, he began to sway from the normal Guardian ideals, and the Vanguard quickly became aware of this. Today we're going to have some fun and discuss where Toland is now and some of the weird things he's revealed through the Ascendant Plane. My name's Evade and welcome to the channel.
We fear the darkness because we believe it is wrong, evil. No. There is one reason to be afraid, the recognition that it is right. Belief in the light is a thin pane of glass between you and the truth, and if you don't shatter that glass yourself, I will shatter it for you. Be brave.
Alright, welcome back Guardians, hope you're having a great day and super excited to jump into this information. Now before we do, I want to talk about a couple of things, just get your opinion on some videos and stuff content wise moving forward, and then we'll dive right into the mysteries here. So I first want to ask, what other lore videos or mysteries would you like to see moving forward? What question have you had in the Destiny universe that hasn't really been answered, or you may have some crazy conspiracy theory that might turn out to be true? I want to hear those in the comments down below. And the second thing is, I want to hear what other games you would like to see on the channel at some point. Now, we'll be branching out slowly in the future. Destiny's always going to be the main content, it's not going anywhere. But if people would like to see, say, Borderlands 3 mysteries and secrets alongside Destiny, I think it'd be really fun to explore other adventures together. Now, of course, I don't want to sway too far away from like Destiny type games, so it wouldn't be anything like Mario or anything like that. But if you're interested in other stories in games around the same genre as Destiny, be sure to tell me that as well. Anyway, enough of that, let's talk about Toland now. So as mentioned, Toland was once a guardian of the city and a part of Eris Morn's fire team that went down into that pit. Toland's journal and cards from Destiny 1 tell us that this man studied the darkness extensively and also the Hive, and he even believed it was the true endpoint of the universe. One day, a female hunter and some friends decided they were going to be the ones to venture into the pit on the moon and attempt to slay the Hive god whose name was Crota. As they ventured through the dark abyss and passed the bridge near the Oversoul, they eventually came to Crota's chamber, where Toland was fascinated by the Death Singer. So pretty much think of it as this: they did all this work, went through the abyss, got all the way down to where Crota would be, and Toland was like, "Hey Death Singer, I want to be your friend, let's talk a bit," and then it just killed him. And the reason for that, it was Toland had done some studying in the past about the Death Singer and her song, and apparently he thought it would somehow make friends with him, which doesn't make any sense, but then he ended up dead. So after that, we know how the rest of that story went. Eris crawled back out of the pit and winded up in the last safe city, telling us all about Crota, and then the rest of them perished. During the Taken King, Toland would contact our Guardian even though he was killed in Crota's Ascendant realm. This obsessed once warlock now floated among the Sea of Screams, where he would watch our Guardian's pursuit of the Taken King. From both the Taken King and Destiny 2, we can see Toland was obsessed with the darkness, the Hive, and even their sword logic. Now briefly, for those who aren't familiar, the sword logic is sort of the Hive's religious belief. To be stronger, you must destroy everything to feed your worm. So this was something they heavily started to believe in ever since they became the Hive back on Fundament, but Toland also thought that the way of the sword may have been correct. He sort of believed in it. Now he was so delusional with this ideal that when we killed Oryx, we proved that we were more powerful. So Toland realized this and got super mad when we didn't take Oryx's spot as the logic would rule. He said, "We killed Oryx, we should take that position as we are more powerful," but we didn't, and he got super angry. So after the Taken King, Toland would encounter Mara Sov after the destruction of her ultimate plan. We know she was trying to obtain this vacant position left by our Guardian when Oryx was dead, but Oryx kind of ruined that plan and she didn't really have the chance to, so she had to go to plan B. Now as Mara was venturing back from Oryx's throne world to the Dreaming City and her throne world, whatever, to figure out what was going on, she encountered Toland the Shattered along the way. Here's what happened. She travels across the Ascendant Plane. The voyage across the Sea of Screams threatens to erode her edges as no other trial ever has. In Oryx's throne world, she had a semblance of an identity. Treasure, spoil of war, defeated queen. Repugnant and alien and not me, but she could use these contortions as guideposts to trace her way back to herself. Here in the emptiness between throne worlds, she has nothing but what she can carry. The burden is growing heavier, but she is not alone. He tried to speak to her from a place of high contempt. In doing so, he invites her into his topography. She steps out of howling and finds her footing upon a plane of swords and madness and all-consumed curiosity. Who are you? The question summons an almost forgotten answer deep within the rapidly solidifying shape of her. I am Mara Sov. Starlight was my mother and my father was the dark. The thing that was once called Toland flees before her dark light shadow majesty, and she rests within the scrap of a world before resuming her journey through the howling. As for our own guardian though, we encounter Toland the first time when we enter the Dreaming City. Now some people may think it was back in the Taken King, as we follow the same type of orb through the Dreadnought. I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not, that it would be pretty cool if it is. But the first confirmed time where he actually speaks to us is in the Dreaming City's first mission. So after finding the Stargate to enter the Dreaming City, we get pulled into the Ascendant Realm and he tells us we're not supposed to be here and he guides us out of this area.
You! Why would you come here? There is no place less suited for the likes of you, walking in the dreamland of your enemies. And what? Am I to be your Virgil? A guide? A shepherd? No. There are no guides here. It is a place of scheming queens and traps unsprung. The dreary plain, forlorn and wild, the seat of desolation, void of light. You walk blind above an abyss, full of trust for a friendly voice. You're playing right into her hands. Leave the Dreaming City while you still can.
Let's next dive through some of Toland's audio that plays through the Ascendant Realm and also the Ascendant Challenges. Now some of these I'm sure you've never heard before and others you'll recognize right away, but there's some pretty crazy stuff in here for sure. So I'm gonna let these play out for a little bit and then we'll discuss them afterwards.
A dreamer set adrift, caught between schemes, a pleasant pawn for murderous queens. The curse cannot be unraveled. You're so deep into the web of her will. War above and trickery below, all within a city built for navigation, the unholy trinity. The rules of ascendance have changed according to the wish of the dragon. Do you like it here? It's scenic, I will say that. The sisters did not do much redecorating when they moved in, but I say, give them time. Quria is the key. The mind simulates Oryx and thereby masters the power to take. But of course, Quria is no power unto itself. Imagine 3 great nations under 3 great queens. The first queen writes a great book of law, and her rule is just. The second queen builds a high tower, and her people climb it to see the stars. The third queen raises an army and conquers everything. Ire, Yule, that is the cry now. That is the cry now that the littlest worm has shamed its kin. Were you tricked by the worm that chased the war mind? Did you truly believe you'd fought one of the beings that the Hive call gods? The Witch Queen's deception runs far and deep. Question everything. Question even me. When a god's will is met with force, its might will be unleashed in the form of trickery. Tell me, Guardian, do you trust me? Do you believe I am an ally of the light or a servant of the darkness? What if I told you I was neither? Mara is right about one thing. A second collapse is on the horizon, and this time there will be no crawling out of the trash heap of humanity.
So from that audio, we get some pretty awesome insight from Toland, or at least what we think is Toland. You know, unless we're getting tricked once more by Savathun or the Witch Queen, it's kind of hard to tell exactly for sure. But Toland goes on about the sword logic and how the darkness is the true endpoint of the universe. Also, he confirms something we discussed in my recent video regarding Medusa. There we learned from some of the Truth to Power entries that Quiria Blade Transform was causing this loop in the Dreaming City and has been sort of held against her will by Savathun. Toland tells us that Quiria simulated Oryx, which is true, but it was a young Oryx before he became the Taken King, and not the giant hive god he was back in 2015. This was how the Vex Mind Quiria obtained the ability to take in the first place, as she has simulated Oryx in the past. Now the last line there was interesting. Toland says she's no power unto herself or whatever, and that basically means that Savathun most likely has control of this mind, and it's pretty crazy. He also has various lines about how we're playing right into her hands and that the trickery is going on here in the Dreaming City because of her ultimate plan. So if Toland himself is not a simulation, he has sort of revealed the truth about the Dreaming City and the goals of the remaining Hive gods. We thought our trouble with the Hive concluded after Oryx's death, but it looks like another great war is definitely on the horizon. But Guardians, that's all I got for today's video. Definitely let me know your opinions on Toland, what other mysteries you'd like to see in the future, and what other games you'd like me to possibly cover as well. If you'd like to see more videos just like this one, definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I thank you very much for watching. My name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.